Hello, welcome to this is great. This is great. We have Bitcoin finally breaking out of $100,000 and it's currently reached it's reached a high of 104,263. Current price is $102,760. So it finally happened. We, like I said, managed bounced off to go off this uptrend that we had drawn. The resistance that we had to face off against was the 98,000, we'll call it, which bounced off of there, but it finally broke out of it literally, yesterday evening, it seems like. Yeah, we were around this area right after I finished streaming, and then overnight it just continued higher. This morning continued higher, and we are still kind of continuing higher. Just recently we kind of slowed down around this area, and at this zone right now, in between 102, 103,000, it's crazy how far we've already come. It's, yeah, I'm pretty surprised, but it was to be expected nonetheless. I did kind of project this. I'm like, this week we can absolutely hit $100,000. We were only 2% away at the time, which was something like this, I think I was looking at. We were like around over here when I was streaming yesterday. And yeah, it managed to do that. So congratulations. We deserve it. Make sure you do take some profits because we are currently overbought. And I mentioned this as well with the RSI, is that we did have the potential to continue increasing, of course. There was still plenty of room to run. And I think that has kind of run out, to say the least, right? It's not like we're dropping to all the way down here again, but I'm just saying we could see a bit of a slowdown right over here before we continue rising up. From here, I'm seeing this as our most important support. Now that we have already broken out of it, this is like going to be a psychological level. Nobody's going to want to see Bitcoin below 100,000 again, unless you were too late to the party, which you shouldn't be. You had way too much time to be buying, and if you didn't want to buy down here, then you deserve to buy Bitcoin at a higher price. That's all I'm going to say about that. But it's great. I'm happy to see this happen. Of course, a lot of altcoins pumping like crazy as well. Among the best, we got Sui and Ethereum. Spoiler alert, you can already see what prices they've already hit. It's great. I'm happy. Today's a great day. I did take some profits myself. Not too much though, because things can still continue going higher, and we know this because of M2 money supply. The charts are still pointing upwards. It's going to keep happening, right? All right, cool. Great. 4.90% up today. That is awesome. RSI level at 77. That's bound to be dropping. It reached a high of 81, so it's on its way down. Just be cautious of that. Like I said, I'm assuming we wouldn't drop a lot lower than over here. 100,500. Nice. Let's have a look at Ethereum. It is up 21% and still rising, by the way. It completely destroyed all of the resistance levels. That is how crazy of a pump this is for Ethereum. Something that is not that volatile that we were seeing was staying relatively flat for a long period of time, right? From 22nd of April till today. Yeah, it was a bit concerning for Ethereum. I will admit myself, like I was not expecting this kind of a breakout, but hey, it happened. And I mentioned this downtrend line, once it does get broken, coinciding as well with 2000, it was going to be a massive movement, and we got that indeed. I'm going to get rid of this line. I feel like, similarly to what we're seeing with Bitcoin 100,000, this is our support for Ethereum at 2,000. But man, we're still rising. I don't even know. From here, it seems like we could continue rising. I don't think that's going to be too feasible. Look how overbought we are right now for Ethereum. This is absolutely out of the normal. I didn't buy too much Ethereum down here. I did buy a little bit, but I have most of my purchases above 3,000. So I am still suffering. But hey, let it rise, right? Let it continue rising. I'm fine with it. I won't be taking any profits yet. I won't be touching my Ethereum until we're around 4,000, if we ever do get there. I still think we can, although I have doubted it sometimes. I'm just being discouraged by like the massive drops and the choppiness of Ethereum. I feel like this is absolutely deserved, so there we are. Congratulations. A 22% pump today, 2,234, completely breaking every possible resistance as if it doesn't even exist. It just yeah, a lot of optimism is starting to come back, and this is something that we absolutely needed to see in order to see some altcoins also start rising again, which we are seeing. Solana is rising 9.85% today. It reached a high of 164. We're currently slowed down a little bit, similar deal to Bitcoin, and we're at 163 currently, $163.36. I have a resistance at 167. Last resistance that we just broke out of was the 160, which we did slow down at, and I took some profits there for Solana on my main account. But this is a great movement as well. So I'm happy that most of these were able to maintain their uptrend, and we were able to connect the dots right until either 6th of May or it was some other date, I think around over here or over here. I think it was 30th of April. Uptrends are still being maintained, so that is good. I am yawning. I'm so tired. But yeah, this is awesome. Glad to see this. 167 is our next stop, then 172, we'll call it 173, approximately around that zone. It's a bit weird right now. A lot of stuff can happen. I'm going to get rid of this line. And yeah, that's all I have for Solana. Sui is among one of the top movers as well. I drew this downward channel, and it was indeed, like, this is an actual pattern. If you do study, like, chart price action stuff, it's literally, this is what it looks like. You have, is this even drawing anything? Oh, there we go. Stop it. Why does it, can I delete this? Thank you. Okay, what I was trying to explain is, you see this kind of pattern? This is an actual pattern for a technical analysis. And I was saying, like, we're bound to break out of this, especially considering the fact that why is it doing this? Why are you evil to me? Considering the fact that we slowed down at this level where our zone of invalidation of an upward trend would be, given the fact that, you know, we do technically have another smaller uptrend starting from, we could stem it from here. I'll fix that in a sec. Something like that. Whatever, I'll use that level there. Something like this is what we are currently seeing, right? Slowing down at this resistance, $4.15 is what we have our second resistance approximate zone. These aren't exactly perfect, but it gives you an idea as generally where. Also coinciding with this Fibonacci at $3.97, we'll call it $4. Current price is $4.03. And wow, we reached $4.10 for Sui, which is awesome. This is great. XRP's $2.31 is up 8% as well today. And just look at that, immediately was able to... This is practically what I explained, right? We did see this negative super trend, bearish super trend. I keep saying negative because I'm used to, like, coding the super trends. And I was saying, right, we could see this. We would need price to go back up again so we could see something like that. And that's exactly what we saw. Why is... Okay, I'm going to refresh because I pressed the undo button and it undoes the wrong thing. It's happened 3 times now. So, there. So we're back to bullish super trend. We're now using $2.09, $2.08 as our support before we get any invalidations. So this downtrend got broken. We had a nice breakout and we're slowing down at the first resistance, 233. 231 is the current price. So this is good. I need my tea. Let's have a look at the next market, which is a Litecoin. I'll give it to Litecoin. They did also a good job at maintaining their uptrend, right? No bearish super trend flipping going on. And they had a really nice pump over here. Up to $94.71. Currently up 5.23%. Slowing down at the 95 resistance. So next target is 100 for Litecoin. I'd be happy to see Litecoin above 100 once again. Last purchase I did make, I think, was right here, 92. So that's finally positive, but barely positive. I should have, could have made some purchases down here, although I was very close to getting liquidated. I remember I was out of money. I generally couldn't purchase any more assets because I ran out of money. Like, that's how bad these drops were. I'll admit it live on air. But overall, it's really good, this movement that we're getting. We're not considered overbought yet for Litecoin, so I still think that Litecoin has enough momentum to continue forward, especially given the fact that they've only risen 5% today, whereas other assets are like 8, 9, 12, 20%, right? Bitcoin moves 5%, everything else moves almost double, but Litecoin only moved 5% as well. So I think it deserves to continue a little higher. We'll see. Cardano had a nice rip upward as well. 77 cents was its highest, currently at 76. Bit of a breather, slowing down at the resistance that we have at the 76 zone. Could turn into a support, hopefully. I don't know, though. It seems like a similar deal to what we're seeing with Bitcoin and Solana, and maybe even Ethereum, but it's not showing any signs of slowing down, so forget Ethereum for now. They had their bit of a slowdown, right? They kind of reached their top, I think, for now. They probably can't continue going higher within the next couple of days, that's for sure. The thing is, we need to relax a little bit and then start getting more liquidity before we start continuing higher. Because realistically speaking, we can still have like a 9% drop for Cardano something, and we'll still be in an uptrend, right? So there's still corrections that can happen. You'll notice that when we get these sharp spike movements upward, we usually get a bit of choppiness back downward once again before we continue higher, right? Which is necessary for that to happen. Things can't just go up forever. But when they go up, you better be in there, right? So that's the whole point of this. Bitcoin above 100K is just the best thing to see right now. I don't think I've actually ever streamed Bitcoin's price being above 100,000. I know it has been in the past, but I was on vacation and I was not streaming at that time. But now I'm here with you guys. There you go. Congratulations, we made it, right? Ever since I started my channel. When was this? No, well, like, not my channel. Like, I started my channel in, what, 2015, I think, when I was a child. I'm talking about, like, this crypto journey. I started it probably in June last year. We're in May of this year, so almost a year ago. 1 year of streaming, and I still suck and 0 viewers. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, well, still happy nonetheless. Let's move on to some news and the reasons as to why we're seeing what we're seeing. Number one, yesterday I talked about Donald Trump was saying we're going to have a very special announcement tomorrow about a country. He said it had nothing to do with tariffs, but it does have things to do with tariffs. So, oh no, that's something different though. He mentioned something else. The special announcement was going to be announced either Thursday, Friday, or Monday is what he said. And that has nothing to do with tariffs. But he said something about we're going to be talking with a very specific country. That they will be meeting with at 10 a.m. today. It was today, right? They announced it the day before. And it turns out it was for a major trade deal with the United Kingdom. What it's going to do for the United States is $6 billion in new tariff revenue. U.S. tariff on imports from the UK was raised to 10%. The UK tariffs on imports from the U.S. was lowered to 1.8%. So we're kind of flipping the script over here. $5 billion in new exports from the U.S. He says that the deal includes billions of dollars of increased market access for American exports, especially in agriculture, dramatically increasing access for American beef, ethanol, and virtually all of the products produced by our great farmers, is what he's saying. So, great. He also put out this post on Truth Social. President Trump announces the U.S. has reached a full and comprehensive trade agreement with the United Kingdom, saying the agreement with the UK is full and comprehensive one that will cement the relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom for many years to come. Because of our long-time history and allegiance together, it is a great honor to have the United Kingdom as our first announcement. Many other deals which are in serious stages of negotiation to follow, which means that things will only just get better, according to this. It gives market hope and also reassurance that, yes, tariffs are working, they will work. What happened in the past was just people just not understanding that the tariffs will work. And I have I have talked about this before. Like, I know it's going to suck short term, but long term, it genuinely will be good for the United States. Trump and his art of the deal, it's going to work out in the end. I just know that for sure. So we just gotta have our faith in Trump. And on top of that, to kind of put the cherry on top of it all, he says that you better go out and buy stocks now. This country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up, is what he's saying. And here is when you can start playing the clip of, we can't take it anymore, there's too much winning, and you're gonna ask, we don't want more winning, and I'm just gonna say, too bad, you're gonna have more winning. It's too much winning, Mr. President. Things like that, you know. Bit of drama here too. A Truth Social post by Trump that was endorsing the inclusion of XRP, Sol, and Cardano in a proposed crypto strategic reserve was reportedly driven by a lobbying group representing crypto clients without Trump's knowledge. That lobbyist involved has since been removed from the White House. That's interesting to see. I do want to see what explanation Grok has to say about this, because this is important, right? The Strategic Crypto Reserve. So, that Crypto Strategic Reserve announcement was influenced by a lobbying group tied to Ripple Labs. So, Brad Garlinghouse. Without Trump's full awareness, highlighting the murky role of crypto lobbying in U.S. politics. It has to do with all those people in there. That's why there's people adding like Charles Hoskinson, right, from Cardano, or the guy from Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, Charles Hoskinson, Bo Hines as well in here. I haven't followed him. Brian Ballard, the lobbyist involved. Okay, so it's actually Brian Ballard. I don't even know who this guy is. Looking you up. American lobbyist founding lobbying Ballard Partners. Really, what does he do? So here's the incident, talking about that. That's all it really says. He's just a guy in the White House that, I guess, approved that tweet to go out, that post. He was removed from the White House access after the incident at Mar-a-Lago event in March 2025. So what does that mean? We're not getting a crypto strategic reserve anymore? I mean, we probably still will be. And I mean, he also doubled down on it because he said, oh, but don't forget Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are great options too, when he announced the strategic reserve of XRP, Cardano, and Solana. I don't even know, man. The event underscores broader tensions in crypto policy, as a February 2025 University of Chicago survey found no economist supported a strategic crypto reserve, citing risks like price volatility and government market manipulation. It's kind of what we're seeing now. And I mean, when didn't I share this already? Like the Trump saying, like, literally go buy. And this has happened twice now. This is the second time that he said that. Before, Trump said, now's a great time to buy stocks when everything was down here. Or now's a great time to buy. DJT is what he said. And then later on he announces the 90-day tariff pause. And everything started rising. He's doing it again right here, saying, you better go out and buy stocks now, is what he's saying. Literally financial advice. I don't know how people are going to take it. I don't know if there's going to be Democrats trying to charge him over this. We'll see. But yeah, that government market manipulation could be real. Anyways, let's talk a bit about Jerome Powell and what happened yesterday. This is the reason why I was looking at Trump posts yesterday, to see if he mentioned anything about Jerome Powell, which he didn't, but today he did. So that's why I'm going to show it today. And that's, by the way, when I found when he was announcing, like, we're going to be having an important deal with a very important country tomorrow. And people were guessing what country that is. Turns out it was the UK. Anyways, Trump says that, says this in the post, too late, Jerome Powell, this is a nickname he's giving him, is a fool who doesn't have a clue. Other than that, I like him very much. That's pretty funny. There's oil and energy that are way down, almost all costs, groceries and eggs down, virtually no inflation, tariff money pouring into the US, the exact opposite of too late. Enjoy. He's basically saying, yeah, the Fed leaves interest rates unchanged, so of course Trump was going to take out his rage on Jerome Powell But I explained why Jerome Powell decided to keep rates at where they are right now. Yesterday I explained that, so if you want to check. Yeah, there you go. I mean, yeah. Trump absolutely wanted him to cut the rates, but it seems like it's not going to happen until not even June. It's going to probably be until July. So that's something, of course, that he does not like. So he keeps mocking Jerome Powell. But Jerome Powell already said, like, whatever the president says, whatever the government says, we're just going to keep doing our job and it doesn't impact us at all. So nothing that can be done there. Although there's an odd pattern going around in the world. You'll notice the European Central Bank cuts the rates. Bank of England cuts their rates. People's Bank of China cut their interest rates. I don't know what SNB, but they got a rate cut. What is SNB? Let me see. Service New Brunswick? That is a lie. Saudi Arabia. Okay, there we go. And the United States Federal Reserve did nothing, unchanged, and it's probably going to stay unchanged for the next meeting. But the meeting after it, that's when we're probably going to see a rate cut. Yeah, Powell is literally saying, Orange Man, bad rate stays. So, like, come on, why, if it's the rest of the countries that are doing it, why aren't we doing it? Anyways, I'm sure Jerome Powell has his reasons. Here's just an interesting post I saw about Caroline Leavitt announcing that the Trump administration would not be recognizing June as Pride Month. Finally, nor would they approve any federal funds for the occasion. President Trump doesn't feel as though spending $200 million on festivals and parades for what amounts to less than 7% of the population makes any sense, is what she said. We'd much rather put that money towards solving the homeless veteran issue based. So that's cool. There we go. They're ending wokeness, finally. Speaking of, well, never mind. The new Pope got announced today. It's Cardinal Robert Prevost. He has been selected, and his papal name will be Pope Leo the 24th. That is the first American Pope, by the way, and coming from Chicago. So Americans are kind of happy, I guess. There's people who checked his historical stuff now because they're like, okay, well, who really is this guy? Seems like he's a registered Republican, has voted twice, I think I saw in a post. But also he has like other Twitter posts criticizing people like J.D. Vance and immigration and things like that. Kind of like democratic policies. So it's like, whose team is this guy really on? But will it really matter too much? I mean, he's the Pope now, so it maybe will matter. How old was he? Like 69, I think, his age? I could look it up. Yeah, 69 years old. Yeah, he's got a bit of life in him still, so he's going to be here for a while. So let's get used to it. I'll save this for later. Missouri, let's talk about Bitcoin and crypto. They're set to become the first US state to exempt capital gains taxes on stocks, crypto, and real estate. Wow. That's the future. No capital gains tax. Is there a twist? Surely there's a twist. I don't believe this, honestly. Okay, potential yet. It's not happened yet. The governor, Mike Keogh, has to sign it into law. The bill could reduce state revenue by $430 million in the first year. Yeah, it's going to be bad for the state because they won't get their tax money in, right? And $340 million annually thereafter, sparking debate over economic growth versus budget shortfalls, especially as public schools remain underfunded. Surely the federal government will step in. Critics argue the tax exemption disproportionately benefits the wealthy, while supporters, like the bill's sponsor Chad Perkins, claim it will attract investment. That's true, it could go either way, right? Despite other states like Florida and Texas already having no capital gains tax. I actually did not know that. Okay, cool. Wait, what? Then this would not be the first U.S. state to exempt capital gains tax. Really? That is actually true. Okay, that is true. I do recall Texas not having any capital gains tax. So what is... Okay, the title is probably misleading then. Unless it's talking about including one of these other ones, real estate, stocks, or crypto included. I don't know. Yeah, there's many states that have no capital gains tax. Alaska, Florida, Nevada, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Wyoming, New Hampshire. Um, yeah, I don't know what to think of this, honestly. Which one is true? There's no truth to this, but hey, it's happening. Like, still no capital gains tax, probably a good thing, right? It will make more people willing to invest, and that's kind of what we need in this day and age. Something big just happened according to this post. Morgan Stanley says that Bitcoin is now large enough to qualify as a strategic reserve asset, unlike what other states and countries and companies believe, right? The real story isn't the report, it's the game theory it reveals. Is the US uniquely incentivized to see Bitcoin win? Will I read all this? Probably not, but it's there if you do want to read it. Bitcoin is decoupling, TLDR, BlackRock buying, gold, power of gold. But Bitcoin is better because it's portable, hard to confiscate, instantly verifiable, and it's hard capped by code as well. So digital gold better. US has already created a strategic Bitcoin reserve. That is true. It's already in effect. ETFs, right? You can get exposure to Bitcoin's price movements. The global assets. This is something that interests me. Gold has a $22 trillion market cap, right? The amount of cars, art, collectibles in the world totals 27 trillion. The equities in the world, 135 trillion. Real estate, 370 trillion. Bonds, 318 trillion. Money out there is 129 trillion. And Bitcoin is still very, very small compared to the rest at 2 trillion in terms of market cap. Once Bitcoin reaches whatever gold status is worth, Bitcoin will be $1 million by then. Literally, just do the math. Right? So that'll be pretty cool. Yeah. There's people still thinking that it's too volatile to adopt today, but the volatility is dropping steadily, measurably. Once it meets their threshold, the price won't be 97K, it'll be much higher. The opportunity will be priced in. That is also true. So you might be late to the party by then. Ultimately, is what it says. Did you guys know this? I did. MicroStrategy dropped to 42 cents in 2002. July 3rd, 2002. It was at its worst moment in history after being worth 300 before, I think. So just imagine a drop like that. Crazy drop. You would think that company is bankrupt. They adopted Bitcoin in 2020 something. I don't remember exactly when Michael Saylor started buying Bitcoin for his company MicroStrategy. And now it's risen to where it is right now. Yesterday, it's closed at $421, which is fascinating. I do want to have a look at the stock, since I haven't in a moment. MSTR. Yeah, that's great. I should probably take some profits soon. Well, this is not too much. How much do I even have? I have 3 in here. All right, live profit count. Get ready. 348.08 times 3 is that. If I sell right now, 421.49 times 3 is that, minus whatever this number was. My profit is going to be like $200. Come on, let me do the math here. All right. Yeah, $220. After all that time, only $200. Really? Well, I didn't buy much anyway. I'm being a bit greedy. Whatever. So that's great. Good stuff for MicroStrategy. And we always knew that May was going to be bullish months in advance because of global M2, and that is a fact. I've been showing you guys that practically every day since it got popularized, right? Back when things were over here. We saw the mini rally that fails section, which was like right over here, approximately. This is a mini rally that fails. We had one more low, then we started the blast off, and then we're currently over here. I don't know if there's an exact M2 money supply chart. This is what I'm looking for, right over here. So yeah, Like, this is still at 93K, by the way. When was this post made? April 28th. Give me a more recent post, man. April 28th. No, really? Where's the other posts? Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so you literally got this right over here. This is like Bitcoin 99,000. According to this, oh my gosh, we're going to have a huge pump still. Like, nearing, like, May 20, it seems like, from here. If we do follow this closely. That's a crazy pump from, like, 100 and... I don't know, 105 until 120,000? That's crazy. 15K. I mean, it's going to happen, right? What's next for our all-time high? This is our all-time high, 109,952. We're just like 2-3 resistances away from that. It's not even that bad. I think tomorrow we could reach that. Let me see. 6%? Easily. Easily. But I think we're going to chill out for a bit because we are overbought, right? People will start taking some profits, which seems to already have been happening. Or seems to already has been You get the point. And yeah. Institutional interest is here, of course. David Bailing raising $300 million to launch a publicly traded Bitcoin company. So people are trying to copy MicroStrategy. Who is this guy? I don't know. He's an artist working primarily. That is a lie. CIO Capital Group. Well, some company raising money to launch a public Bitcoin trading company. Okay, well, good luck with that. We'll see how it goes. China announcing okay. Significant rate cuts. That's the reason why we're also seeing a big rise thanks to the Asian markets. They were getting rate cuts, as I showed with the previous bank thing, the bank list. And they also got a $138.5 billion liquidity injection, mainly to support its trade war that impacted their economy, and to also improve credit conditions. I shared this yesterday. And yeah, I mean, it's also part of why M2 money supply keeps on making new all-time high levels. And all of that, with that offset, will be pouring into the crypto market, stocks, etc. So that's pretty big. I accidentally closed the wrong tab. Scott Bessant says that negotiations with China will begin on Saturday. He's describing them as initial talks rather than advanced discussions, but Trump mentioned otherwise, saying like, oh yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of discussions with China. We'll see. And apparently Pakistani stock market is crashing, of course, because of the war that's going on. India-Pakistan war. Does it even show up here? Oh, Pakistan. Here's Pakistan. I hope I don't get any graphic content, please. Okay, cool. They're calling them terrorists. Nice. They're apparently losing their jets. Yeah. Yeah, America's not going to get involved in this conflict anyway, so I feel like that's just not that relevant at this point. And also, just to end it off here, President Putin states that the majority of trade between Russia and China is now settled in their national currencies, reducing reliance on the US dollar. There was rumors before that they were using Bitcoin to trade, or that, you know, that's why they also started pushing the whole BRICS thing, which ultimately ended up failing thanks to Trump, saying, like, we're going to put tariffs on your country of 100% if you are a part of BRICS, or if you want to use BRICS currency, whatever it is. That BRICS being the abbreviation between Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. So yeah, like, they're not going to do that anymore because they don't want to get tariffed by the United States. But yeah, there you go. They're still kind of working around it. Crypto was one of the options that they could have used, but now they're doing it in their national currency. So they're back to yuans and rubles, I'm assuming, right? Okay. That's all. 102,800. We haven't broken through all resistances for Bitcoin yet. I mentioned the previous resistances here. So it's looking next resistance at 105,000, then 108,000. And then we have our all-time high, the final boss, before we start actually breaking up. But according to the M2 money supply chart, can I even find... Let me go here. I have to find an indicator, I assume. Guess I have to hide the RSI indicators. M2 Global Liquidity Index with a 10-week lead. What was it? 84 days? What is 84 divided by 7? That's a 12-week lead. Does this 12-week lead exist? No. Time shift. Can I change it? That is not what I'm looking for. Time offset. Yes, I can change this. In days. 84 days. Go. This looks horrible. Are we sure this is it? I don't think this is it. What was the other offset? 108? Oh, this does not look correct at all. I feel like it has to be more. Let me see. Yeah, honestly, this is... I don't think these days are correct. What is 84 times 2? 168... More. Oh my gosh. 200. I'm trying to match this up as best as I can. It's clearly like going to be 500 or something dumb. Yeah, like this. It's kind of what we're seeing then, I guess. Yeah, it's something like this, right? Could see a bit of slowdown, but ultimately we will continue rising. This is like what it's kind of projecting if we do try to follow M2 money supply. Yeah, that looks about right. It's just this indicator specifically has got a weird offset. I wouldn't trust what that says. It's obviously not 500 days. 500 days would be devastating. It's like a whole year and a half. But yeah, you get the point. Anyways, get out of here. Give me back my RSI. Overbought in the 4-hour chart. So be careful with operating right now. Weekly chart, we are still within our uptrend. And wow, we can still, according to this... Still drop to 74,000, 73,000, and continue back up again, I guess. We would still be within a bull run, so don't you worry. But I don't know. What if this that we're seeing right here, like this second rise up, is something like this? Like this is the second rise up. What if we have like 4 more or something crazy? No, I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, I'm thinking we're just gonna like continue a little bit higher like that. After this, of course, after we break our all-time high, it's looking at 120 is the next important level. Unless pivots mention otherwise, but pivots are just more of a short-term thing. So you don't have to pay too much attention to that. All right, and super trend, by the way, is rising to 95,000. It's perfectly fine, and I think it will still... It's at the green zone that I had drawn over here from when we were in this little range in the previous week. So I'd say over here it could be an invalidation zone where we can flip bearish temporarily, of course. That would just be likely due to corrections. But like I said, I still think we'd still be above 97, worst case scenario, or 100,000 seems to be the most reasonable level. I would say 100,000, I think we could hold it very well. And if we do drop, worst case scenario, like I said, 98,000, we'll call this level right over here. Awesome. So yeah, happy to see this. Like I said a couple times, this is great. Yeah, we're finally seeing a bit of a slowdown for Ethereum. So you just be careful with operating at these levels. We're oversold. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream here. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. I will see you tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Friday? And nothing important is happening tomorrow other than, I think, a bunch of federal agents yapping. Williams, Barr, Kugler, Gouldsby, Waller, Williams, Cook, Hammock, and Muslim. Really? Muslim. Musalim? Whatever. Next week, inflation data. PPI. And then... Where's CPI? Okay, CPI is Tuesday, and then PPI is Thursday. That's an interesting separation of dates. Okay, and then Friday, nothing important. It's housing, building permits. Yeah. And, well, yeah, I'm not even going to check the percentages. Percentages are going to stay the same. Nothing will really change in that sense. But yeah, go sell. Not financial advice, actually. I think we're still going to continue higher.